See, the 11th stanza of the poem Ulysses. In offices of tenderness and pay, meet adoration of my household gods. When I am gone, he works his work, I mine. There lies the port, the vessel puffs her sail. Already in the beginning class, I told you the storyteller, or it means the narrator of the poem is Ulysses. He says in this 11th stanza, in offices of tenderness, in his ruling, he will rule the people in tenderness, he will behave and he will show soft and love towards the people and pay meet adoration to my household gods. Here he would worship and maintain his household gods very well. He will look after his family and his generation very well. Who? Telemachus, the son of Ulysses. When I am gone mean after he gone to for exploration, he would look after his family and the people, his country also. He works his work. He works his work mean here, son of Ulysses, Telemachus would do what he had done. He has been doing the work. He will look after, he will do. He works his work, I mine. I mine mean what I did, he would do very well. There lies the port. He shows to his sailors, there lies the port. He asked them, there lies the port, the vessel puffs her sail mean it is ready, it is in the position of ready to go sailing. See, the 11th stanza of this poem entirely says, we can say in a nutshell, Telemachus in his workplace and work in the place of Ithaca, in the place of mean here country Ithaca, he would work in his job with love and admiration to his home country people. He loves his job with dedication and tenderness, and he will fulfill his family gods worshipping well, and he will do when I go to start my duty. Duty mean here exploration. With his sailors, Ulysses wants to go on, travel and leave his kingdom in the hands of his son. He will look after the country, Telemachus. His son would rule with prudence like mine. Then he says, see, there is the port to travel for exploration. The vessel mean here ship, is ready to puff. It here mean start, in the position of starting. See the 12th stanza of this poem. There gloom the dark broad seas, my mariners, souls that have toiled and wrought. Wrought is a past tense of, in those days used for work. Then, and thought with me that ever with a frolic welcome took the thunder and the sunshine unopposed. In this stanza he says, there gloom the dark. The seas look like very dark. Broad seas look like very dark. My mariners, he says to his mariners, souls that have toiled. Our souls have experienced and suffered, enjoy a lot. All the experiences they have seen and wrought and thought with me. You have experienced with me a lot. That ever with frolic. Frolic mean here full of fun. You have enjoyed with me fun also. Welcome took. You enjoyed with me. The thunder and the sunshine. Thunder on the sky and the sunshine and opposite. Whatever may our in our way oppose, but we would do what we expect. Here in this 12th stanza he says that the broad seas like dark and gloom in the broad sea, my mariners, it means companion sailors, your souls have suffered with me and worked for my deeds and achievements still now, and your thoughts also came like me for my achievements. and for my destinations, and your souls are ever glad for my destination and my success, and give welcome. You have given welcome ever in my life, and your soul, whatever may come in our way, like thunder or sunshine, whatever may be and opposed may be, they break the obstacles for me. Obstacles in my way is broken by you ever. See the 13th stanza of this poem. Free hearts, free foreheads, and you, I are old. Old age hath been here has yet his honor under his toil. Death closes all, but something ere the end. Some work of noble note may yet be done. Here in the 13th stanza, Ulysses says, free hearts mean the sailors and the companions with him is always free hearts, because Ulysses would do whatever they want, their family want, he will fulfill, and that's why they are free forehead. They have no worries about their family and relatives. You and I are old. We have done more achievements and searching knowledges in our life. Now we are very old. You also and myself also. Old age has yet his honor and his toil. In their experiences, they have worked a lot. They have toiled a lot. Death closes all. Here it means they are in the end stage, old age stage. But something ere the end, whatever it may be, error may be done, because we have no strength in our body. Some work of noble note. Up to our death, we will do noble work in our history, may yet be done. He says in the 13th stanza of this poem, my mariner and your hearts are free, because you have believed me. Ulysses would save our family and carry our sufferings, and I would do, and your foreheads are free, because I would fulfill what you have expected for your family. I would fulfill, thank you. I would do the same that you have thought about me. Now Ulysses and the sailors have become old, but they have honor and the fruits of their toil. They are all still ready to travel in spite of old age. He says that death will end everyone's life. This is common to all. Before the end comes, he wants to explore as much as possible and gain knowledge along with his companions. Up to death comes, we must do some noble work and register the history, the name of us. We may do this sure up to end. Okay, see the 14th line of this poem. Not unbecoming men that strove with gods. The lights begin to twinkle from the rocks. The long day wanes, the slow moon climbs, the deep moans rounds with many voices. Come, my friends. Here he says, not unbecoming men that strove with gods. With his sailors, he says they can move for their achievements. They cannot come, may come or may not come, because it is in the hands of God, and he will do. In this line, he says that men cannot live like God is. Up to end men should do achieve in his life, and also you battle with gods. The sailors of him battle with God also, because the welfare of Ulysses. And he says, you are the fittest for sea adventures. They are only the fittest for achievements with him. They would ready to fight with gods also for his sake. Then the lights began to twinkle from the rocks. The lights is glittering or twinkling from the rocks in the sea. They can see now. Then the long day wanes. The daytime disappeared. The slow moon climbs. The moon climbs from the west side. Then the deep moans rounds with many voices. Come, my friends, the destination and searching knowledge in my mind asks you, come friends with me. We are going to achieve another thing. See, in the 14th stanza, Ulysses says, we can say in a nutshell, men cannot live like God is. Up to end men should do achieve in his life. And also you battle with gods also. You are the fittest for sea adventures. Then he says, the lights are getting ready to twinkle from my rocks. And Ulysses exhorts his fellow sailors not to go to bed, but to get ready to start another voyage. They are getting ready to, in spite of their old age, they are ready to go another voyage. Then the sun has set in the west side. The moon climbs up. Here it means they are going to end their life because they are very old. They may come in their achievements or may not come because this is a two age. The deep ocean is beckoning them to embark their voyage. So Ulysses wants his old mariners companions to come to start the final voyage. See the 11th stanza's 4th line. There lies the port. The vessel puffs her sail. Here in this line is considered as personification. This is a poetic line of this stanza. See the 15th stanza of this poem, Ulysses. It is not too late to seek a newer world. Push off and sitting well in order's might. The sounding furrows for my purpose holds to sail beyond the sunset and the baths. See the first line. It is not too late to seek a newer world. Ulysses said to his companions, sailors, this is not too late. In spite of his old, he tells to his sailors, it is not too late to seek a newer world. His curiosity and his encourage of his mind gives a new search and the new world to find or exploration. It is not too late to seek a newer world. Push off. Start now. Here mean push off mean here start. And sitting well. Sit in the ship well in order to smite because tides may come and it may upside down the ship. Push up and sitting well in order to smite. Sit here another one meaning is sit well because it can change your mind. Then the sounding furrows for my purpose holds to sail beyond the sunset and the baths. Here the sounding furrows mean here strike. Furrows mean strike. For my purpose hold, then to sail beyond the sunset, before the sunset and the baths. Baths mean here after outer ocean or river that the Greeks believed to surround the flat earth. They believe in those days the surface is, the earth is flat. Then they say, Ulysses said, to sail beyond the sunset. Before sunset, we should go for a newer search or exploration and the baths. He says in the 15th stanza, entirely we can see in a nutshell, Ulysses asked his sailors that it is not too late to explore a newer world. Come forward, sailors, he asked them, and sit in your place well. Here it means be steady in your determination. Attack by your spirit at tides, by your power, because they are too old, like Ulysses. As Ulysses old, he has the spirit to go on an adventure along with his old companions. Then see the 16th stanza of this poem. Of all the western stars until I die, it may be that the gulfs will wash us down. It may be we shall touch the happy isles and see the great Achilles whom we knew. Here, of all the western stars mean stars are appearing on the western sky until I die. Here it means up to his death he wanted to start a newer world by searching or exploration. Ulysses said then, it may be that the gulfs will wash us down, otherwise the gulf and tide can attack, they can down into the sea. It may be we shall touch the happy isles. Here happy isles mean fortunate island situated in Atlantic Ocean. It is considered in the Atlantic Ocean. This is happy isles is a fortunate island in Atlantic Ocean, popularly known as Greek paradise. The Greek people in those days thought the isles is very very happy place. It's like a paradise. According to them, it is a very happy place like paradise in those days. And see the great Achilles, whom we knew. Achilles is a great Greek person, Greek hero. Here we can say a lot about Achilles, yet I say in a nutshell, Achilles is a person and Greek great warrior, greatest. As he was an infant in the hands of his mother, dipped into the river, holy river Styx. It is situated in Greek, which made him invulnerable everywhere but the feet by which sea held him. He is very great warrior and very bold. He has no vulnerable places in his body because the holy river, his body was dipped by his mother. Okay, it may be we shall touch the happy isles and see the great Achilles, great Greek hero whom we knew. We know in the history of Greek. Okay, see the last stanza of this poem. Though much is taken, much abides, and though we are not now that strength which in old days moved earth and heaven, that which we are. One equal temper of heroic hearts, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. The last line of this poem is very, very familiar. To strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. Nowadays also, we can remember that author Lord Tennyson's Ulysses poem. This line is very, very familiar in literature world. See, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. Okay, see, though much is taken, here it means the sailors and Ulysses made huge success in their exploration, searching new things, and much abides mean still now the familiarity is still now about their past history. And though we are not now the strength which in old days, he says to his fellow sailors, we have no strength like as we are in our young. Moved earth and hover, they have rounded the heaven and earth also when they were young. That which we are. We have achieved, we have roamed a lot place in the world history. One equal temper of heroic hearts. Now we are very, very old, but we have heroic hearts still now. Our body is weak, but our heroic hearts is very, very strong still now. In this line, one equal temper of heroic hearts. Physical strength is not only enough. Heroic in the minds of a person and their spirit is very, very important. He says by this line, one equal temper of heroic hearts. Then made weak by time, their body may be weak in time because they are too old, and fate may change their life, but strong in will they cannot destroy. Like education cannot be destroyed by any type of fate or destiny, whatever it may be. Like that, he says, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. In this last stanza, Tennyson says, we have been abated and taken by age. Ulysses and his sailors have become old. We can say in a lot about in this line. This is much taken, much abides, and though we are not now the strength which in olden days. The spirit is only told by these lines. Their spirit, Ulysses' spirits and the sailors, they are following Ulysses as his guide. Okay, see, we have been abated and taken by age. Ulysses and his sailors have become old and too weak. They are not as strong as they were in the past. They could perform any great task then easily. They could move earth and heaven, but not now. Only they have spirit one in their mind. In one's life, time can change as weak physically and weak by time and fate, but he would be strong in his will, determination and destination. He says that they are old, but their will is strong still now. It will help achieve the goal. The goal is to strive to find new knowledge and never to yield to complacency or adversity. By adversity and physically too weak cannot change their determination and their dedicative and only focus on their achievements. Adversity cannot change a heroic hearts. According to him, adversity cannot change a heroic hearts. Okay, we have finished the 70 blank in verse of this poem. We can say the summary of the poem in a nutshell. Okay, Alfred Lord Tennyson is a very famous poet. We have seen Break, Break, Break is his famous literary work. Okay, Ulysses is a dramatic monologue that contains 70 lines in blank verse. Ulysses, the king of Ithaca, gathers his men together to prepare for the journey and exhorts them not to waste their time left on the tiny island. Ulysses has grown old, having experienced many adventures at the Battle of Troy and in the seas. After returning to Ithaca, his home country, he is unable to stay contented as a king of the island nation. So, he plans to embark upon his next voyage. His inquisitive spirit is always looking forward to more and more of such adventures. Then, Ulysses complains that he is idle as a king, with his elderly wife serving a race that sleeps. He does not want to cease his travels. He has suffered and experienced pleasure with others and alone. He has seen the world and has been honored by more places he had visited. He has also enjoyed the Trojan War. As a heroic warrior, he gained or secured a lot of victories. He has met everything, sufferings, happy, more situations, more places, in more places and more countries. But that is not the end. It is boring to stop and wither away in his old age. There is still something more. He does not want to keep idle without doing anything. As he is a spirit mind, he is ever ready to achieve something. His grey spirit yearns to attain knowledge beyond the utmost bound of human thought. His son Telemachus seems to be content to stay put and simply rule the people. Ulysses loves him. He is confident that his son will use his prudence to govern wisely. He says he works his high mind. Ulysses looks at the port and the sea beyond. He recalls thunder and the sunshine of his mariners, their free hearts and free minds. Both he and their world now. yet they can do something noble suited to their nobleness. They are men who once fought with gods. They should do something befitting their valor and nobility. Ulysses is aware of the inevitable death as one advances in age. It is not too late to discover a new world. They can leave this shore and sail beyond the sunset, exploring until they die. Perhaps they even will reach the happy isles and meet Achilles. Achilles is dead. Ulysses does not believe that voyage can be stopped by death. He believes in life after death too. Although they are weak in age, much vigor is left in them. They still have the heroic hearts still now, which are strong in will. They want to persevere, to explore and discover and never give up their spirits. See the important glossaries of this poem. Drink life to the lees. It will drink life to the lees. It's a famous word. See, it means drink to the very last drop. Here, life to the fullest. Then they have given scudding. Scudding means moving rapidly because of the wind. Then Hyades. Hyades mean a group of stars in the constellation Taurus, often associated with rain. Then vexed. Vexed mean past tense of vex. It means upset. Then to rust unburnished. Already we have seen. Yet I remind you, to rust unburnished means to let go waste without being used. 3 suns. Here it means 3 long years. Telemachus. Telemachus is a son of Ulysses, that is beloved. Then smite. Smite means strike. Furrow. Furrow means mark made in the water by the ship. It's a mark made in the water by the ship. It's a shadow of the water. Then baths, outer ocean or river that the Greeks believed to surround the flat earth. Happy isles. Happy isles means a fortunate island situated in the Atlantic Ocean, popularly known as Greek paradise. Achilles. Achilles is the greatest Greek warrior. As an infant, his mother dipped into the river Styx, which made him invulnerable everywhere but the feet by which she held him. See, in this poem, Ulysses, we will see some important appreciation questions and answers. Okay, see, I meet and dole unequal loss unto a savage race that hoard and sleep and feed and know not me. Here, what does Ulysses do? Ulysses allots rewards and punishments to the people of his kingdom. Then, did he enjoy what he was doing? Give some reasons. No, Ulysses did not enjoy ruling his country because he wanted to travel new places. Then, yet all the experience is an arch wherethrough gleams that untraveled world whose margin fades forever and forever when I move. Here in these lines, what is experience compared to? Experience is compared to an arch according to Ulysses. How do the lines convey that the experience is endless? The more Ulysses travels, the more the margins of the untraveled world recede. Then it never ends, and so the experiences of Ulysses never end. His searching the newer knowledge, newer world is never end. Thus, these lines convey that the experience is endless of Ulysses. Then, little remains, but every hour is saved from that eternal silence. Something more, a bringer of new things, and while it were. In these 3 lines, we can see how is every hour is important to Ulysses. Every hour brings some new experiences and a new knowledge to Ulysses. So it is important to him. Then what does the term little remains convey? Little remains means time will be insufficient to touch all places of the world. Then he says, this is my son, mine own Telemachus, to whom I leave the sceptre and the easel, well loved of me. Here he says and introduces his son Telemachus to the people. Who does Ulysses entrust his kingdom to in his absence? Ulysses entrusts his kingdom to his son Telemachus and introduces to the people of Ithaca, the rugged people. Bring out the significance of the sceptre. Sceptre is an ornamental rod carried by the rulers as a symbol of sovereignty. We can see the sceptre in more hands of the kings in the world. That is called sceptre. Then that ever with a frolic welcome took the thunder and the sunshine and opposite. Here these two lines expresses the meaning. What do thunder and sunshine refer to? Here thunder refers to bad times and sunshine refers to good times at sea. When they were traveling on the sea or ocean, what do we infer about the attitude of the sailors? Here the sailors welcome both the bad times and good times equally. The sailors and the companions of Ulysses are welcoming both good times and bad times equally. They are, according to Ulysses, they are like a wise people. They could face hardships as free and self-reliant men. Then see the two or three lines. Death closes all, but something at the end, some work of noble note and may yet be done, not unbecoming men that strove with gods. Here these three lines explains the above three lines convey the undying spirit of Ulysses. See, Ulysses' opinions is that death is end to all, but before the death engulfs him, he wants to do something great achievements in his life. Then see the lines. For my purpose holds to sail beyond the sunset and the baths of all the western stars until I die. Here in these three lines we can see the entire opinion of Ulysses. See, what was Ulysses' purpose in life? Ulysses' purpose in life is to sail to new places beyond the sunset. Here it means sunset means here end of life and beyond the western stars to gain knowledge. Then how long would his venture last? Up to his death. Till his death his venture would last. See the lines. One equal temper of heroic hearts, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will, to strive, to seek, to find and not to yield. Here in these three lines Ulysses says, though made weak by time and fate, here means the hearts are unheroic. Here the explanation of, according to him, though Ulysses and his mariners grew old and weak, so their spirit is young, yet their spirit is young and undaunted. See the lines. It little profits than an idle king by this still earth among these barren crags. Matched with an aged wife, I meet and dole. These three lines says in the voice of Ulysses. What does the phrase it little profits means? It little profits means it is useless. It is useless and waste. I refer to here is I, Ulysses. In this poem, Ulysses is the narrator of this poem. See the lines. I cannot rest from travel. I will drink life to the lees. All times I have enjoyed. Here she says, lees mean sediment accumulated at the bottom of a bottle of wine. Here, lees, the common meaning is end, up to end. Here, see the line, I will drink life to the lees. Here it means to drink to the little or very last drop. Ulysses wants to live the life of him to the fullest. See, through scudding drifts, the rainy heights vexed the dim sea. I am become a name for always roaming with a hungry heart. Here, hungry mean curious. The three lines says heights mean a group of stars. We can see the heights during the winter season on the sky. How was Ulysses roaming? Ulysses was roaming with a hungry heart. It means curious, to quench the thirst of adventure. See, next these two lines. To follow knowledge like a sinking star, beyond the utmost bound of human thought. Here, what comparison is used by him? Ulysses wants to chase after knowledge in every day during his life, as it sinks like a star, or Ulysses himself could be the sinking star, which means he is about to die. Up to his death, he wanted to achieve something. Then, to whom I leave the sceptre and the easel well loud of me, discerning to fulfill this labor by slow prudence to make mild. These three lines explains the Ulysses leave to his son. Ulysses leaves the sceptre and the kingdom to his son. He wanted to give his kingdom to his son Telemachus. Then what does Ulysses describe in this line? Ulysses describes his son's character and his ability, and he praises him. Then when I am gone, he works his work, I mine. There lies the port, the vessel puffs her sail. Here he says, after he go to search knowledge into the on the sea, his son take over the charge as a king. Where is the ship? The ship is in the port readily. Then her means here refers to Ulysses' ship. Ship is considered as her in this line. See, what does he and I refer to? Here I refers to Ulysses, he refers to his son Telemachus. Free hearts, free foreheads, you and I are old. Old age hath yet his honor and his toil. Here, who are old here? Ulysses and his loyal mariners companions are old. Old age hath yet his honor and his toil. Explain. If you explain, old age hath yet his honor and his toil. Speaking of the old age of Ulysses suggests that though old people are respected, they also have some responsibilities. See the line? It may be, we shall touch the happy isles and see the great Achilles whom we knew. Here, happy isles refers to, it is in the place in Greek mythology. Happy isles refers to heaven. According to Greek people, a happy isle is a place instead of heaven in the land. Okay, see, what does he want to meet? He wants to meet his war companion Achilles. Then, see, we are not now that strength which in old days moved earth and heaven, that which are, we are. See, it means, what does we refer to? we refers to Ulysses and his mariners. Do they have strength now? No, they do not have strength now because they are too old, made by weak by time and fate, but strong in will to strive, to seek, to find and not to yield. Here the last line, to strive, to seek, to find and not to yield. This line is very very familiar in literature world. See, what has taken their strength? Time and fate has taken their strength, because that's why now they are very old. What is strong to mariners now? The mariners' will is only strong to them up to now. See, already we have seen the poem is divided as three parts, can be divided into three parts. The thirst for adventure, which does not allow Ulysses to remain in his kingdom as a mere ruler. Second part, Ulysses handing over to the responsibility to his son Telemachus with total confidence in his abilities. And third part, Ulysses' clarion call to his sailors, urging them to venture into the unknown lands. In this poem, Alfred Lord Tennyson has used dramatic monologue and 70 blank in verse, the king of Ithaca. Let us see, the following lines are metaphor. See, I will drink life to the lees, this one, and yet all experience is an arch where through then gleams that untravelled world whose margin fades, and to store and hoard myself, this one, a rugged people, and throw and subdue them to the useful. The long day vans, the slow moon's climbs, smite the sounding furrows, for my purpose holds. These lines were considered as metaphor. See, souls that have toiled and wrought and thought. This is synecdoche. Then tea is not too late to seek a newer world. That is synecdoche.